Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Parts Talk. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Now today's article we will be looking at from CNBC that says GM offers buyouts to majority of US salaried workers. So it is interesting to learn that General Motors is offering voluntary buyouts to the majority of its 58,000 white-collar employees in the United States in an effort to cut $2 billion in structural cost over the next 2 years. So we're going to be looking into 5 potential benefits and 5 potential disadvantages by this move by General Motors. Before we begin, let's get into this video.
Morning, Carl. General Motors will be sending an offer letter, basically already has sent an offer letter to the majority of its salaried workforce, offering voluntary buyouts. Remember, GM is in the midst of cutting about $2 billion. That's the target in terms of how much money it expects to cut this year. Essentially, it's looking for savings. And we've seen this with other automakers where they have either announced buyouts and or layoffs. And it was just about a week and a half ago that General Motors said that it would be eliminating about 500 jobs, salaried jobs around the world as it looks to streamline its operations. Now we know that the company is sending out an offer letter to almost all of its salaried staff saying there will be an offer for a buyout. How many take?
And this is a result of the EV revolution that has taken place, which has been initiated by our leaders here in North America and of Europe, because they want to streamline the way how we operate on a daily basis and to have carbon emission neutrality by 2050. However, it is going to take a little bit of time going there, but these are the cause and effect again that will result in this. People will be losing their jobs because the factories are looking to automate everything going forward.
Take it, how successful this is, and whether or not this keeps the company from having to initiate some type of a broader layoff, that remains to be seen. But we shouldn't be surprised, guys. We've seen this with other automakers, and now we're seeing it with GM. It is moving to keep costs in line as much as possible. Back to you.
So what are some of the benefits that GM will get? From a business standpoint, they're looking at improved profitability. By cutting costs, GM could improve its profitability and better position itself to compete in the market. Because as you know, electric vehicle standardization is going to take a lot less workers. And anything that happens on the global market has a trickle-down effect in the automotive industry, and this will result in the loss of jobs. And as you might know, salaries are one of the biggest cost factors as it relates to production cost. The next thing we're going to be looking at is flexibility. So by reducing its headcount, GM can become more nimble and agile, allowing it to respond more quickly to changes in the market. And that's basically what it's doing right now. The market has shifted. Well, the market has been forced by the authorities and they have to do what they have to do. The other thing is avoiding layoffs. This voluntary program allows GM to avoid layoff employees, which can be costly and can damage employee morale. So giving them the option to take the voluntary redundancy is a positive move on that point. They don't want to look like the monster just going in and slashing jobs left, right, and center. So this is one possible way in order not to demoralize the current situation in the economy. The fourth one we're going to be looking at is attracting new talent. The cost savings generated by this program could allow GM to invest in new talent and capabilities, which could help it to remain competitive in the long term. This is also true because if GM had done a desk audit, they'll know exactly who are the brightest and the best to keep around the facilities and who actually have the talent to move the company forward. The fifth benefit that I came up with is that better alignment with business goals. So this program can help GM align its workforce with its business goals, ensuring that it has the right people in the right places to drive growth and profitability. But these are all economic business terms. As you know, it all depends on the atmosphere of GM itself and if they were actually looking at their key performance indicators and also their key performance areas in order to maintain profitability in the market. The disadvantages I have here is that, one, there is a loss of talent. By offering buyouts, GM could lose valuable talent and experience which could be difficult to replace. This is so true because a lot of people right now, they're working and they're just tired. They just want to stay home. They want to start their own businesses. They want to stay home with their family. They want to spend more time with their family. And they also want to manage their own time, not getting up in the morning to rush and sit down in traffic, bumper to bumper for minutes and hours at end, getting accustomed to the rat race. A lot of us, especially myself, we want to actually get out of the rat race. that we're facing every single day. The second one is uncertainty. Employees who do not take the buyout may feel uncertain about their job security and could be demotivated as a result. So you hear all this talk about voluntary redundancy coming up, and then you're unsure whether you want to stay or whether you want to leave. So you have to make that concerted effort to analyze your position, where you are at this point in time, and think deeply how it is going to affect you later on. You may not want it, but at the same time, no, you have to look at the possibilities. Will your job be there in another 5 years from now? The third one is costly. The cost of the buyout, which could be as high as $1.5 billion, could put a strain on GM's finances. And this is true. You're going to be spending $1.5 billion in order to save $2 billion. So the overall savings right there is definitely not much, but they're looking at the long-term benefits and how much more they can save going forward. So their accountants, their CEO, their managers, their executives may have actually looked at this to find out exactly what was the best move going forward. The fourth disadvantage here I have is disruption. The departure of a large number of employees could create disruption and instability within GM's workforce. There's nothing more than demotivated workers hanging around a complete assembly plant. Will the ones that remain be motivated enough to increase and maintain the targets that GM will have in place? The fifth disadvantage I have here is cost savings. So while this program could generate cost savings in the short term, there is no guarantee that it will be enough to address the structural issues facing GM in the long term. The competition is heating up and they have to find a way. Nothing is generally easy to decide, especially when it comes to job losses and job cuts, because it is a bitter medicine to take, and it actually shows the status of the job market in today's global recession. There is more to come. Ford has already done it. Honda did it over there in Pakistan. A number of other startups have closed down. If you watch some of the shorts in my videos, I've been reporting of the many changes that have started to happen within the automotive industry as it relates to electrification of our motor vehicles going forward. In concluding this, overall, it will be interesting to see how this voluntary buyout program impacts GM's workforce and its bottom line in the coming months and years. So this is just another day in the life in the automotive industry. Nothing new. I myself have been in this game for over 20 years. I've seen it all. I've been through at least 5 different job cuts, redundancies, mergers, acquisitions, and I can tell you it's never an easy task. But at the same time now, life goes on. So let me know your thoughts by leaving your comments below. Remember to grab a copy of my ebook, The Parts Manager Guide. Please smash that like button on your way out. It will only take you 1.5 seconds to do so. Until next time.